great perspective. They are solidifying some things they want to hold on to, and then also expanding some others. I don't know the strategy behind it, especially some new rules that are introduced that must take effect just 3 months after the introduction. We come to that on another note. Today, I'm talking about two things about Sweden. First, the institution of the foreign intelligence agency. Initially, it has been the military that takes care of intelligence operation in Sweden, but now they're opening a section for the civilian intelligence agency that works like the CIA of US and the MI6 of England or UK. So we will come to that. The next news is the rising gang violence. How a lot of bystanders who have nothing to do with anything we are shot by kids, literally kids. And you will ask yourself, who are the parents of those kids and where were they? But then they are in homeland in Nigeria. It is boiling. The electoral situation is taking a completely different shape. Some are calling it a mastermind. Others are complaining because they said, our critics, as people used to say, if this had been another person that did what Obi and the NDC did, what would be the reaction? But as a matter of fact, most people who supported it, I think, from my own perspective, are looking up to what would be the situation of Nigeria if nothing changes, if the status quo remains, if Obi, who most people think is the possible light for the darkened nation, loses a second time. I have my own view, but at this point, let us take the first news today. Sweden is officially establishing a brand new foreign intelligence service known as UND. Utrikes Director Shensen. Okay, what do they do? Foreign Minister Maria Manme Steingard has announced a budget of roughly $302 million for this service, which is expected to be operational by early 2027. It is a direct response to what the government described as a serious security situation and a complex threat picture. Yeah, that is the readout. But my own perspective is civilians intelligence agency is good, especially if it is foreign intelligence. But the problem with every foreign intelligence in most Western countries all over the world is that at a certain point they are usually turned against their people. Not that the government is bad-willed, no. But it's usually the case. Whatever that the government starts to protect the people, most of the times, especially when it goes to security and surveillance, most of the times it's turned against the people. Because the government is always trying to protect itself. Otherwise, why are so many things classified? Never declassified. Every government of the world you go to today have piles and piles of things classified beyond human imagination. And you ask yourself, why? Why? The question here is, who killed Olof Palme? How many years ago? But still, it is not purely declassified. Why? It's not only here. I'm not saying that it's wrong to do it. I'm only saying that this is good intention to monitor the aggression of Russia. Good. But usually, every foreign intelligence of any country you can talk about in the world has ended up turning to be a local intelligence, spying on the people, taking information from the people and giving to the government, and then completely missing the foreign intelligence because they are concentrated on spying on the people at the homeland. So, but you cannot condemn an institution that has not even stepped on the ground to run. Probably they may make the difference. Sweden usually do. Sweden usually does that. So we give them benefit of doubt and hope that our what has been the rudiments, what has been the outcome is not the case here. We hope that the Foreign Intelligence Agency continues being the Foreign Intelligence Agency, protecting everyone at the homeland. Now, the next news is this. The group of kids shot bystanders. And you ask yourself, where are the parents of these kids? Where are the parents? The social welfare has a very strong power in Sweden. They, at a a twinkle of an eye, they strip family of custody of their kids. But most of the people doing this are two ways. Either they are in the custody of the social welfare or they are at home. Nothing is done. If they are in the custody of the social welfare, you can imagine what the situation is. They cannot blame themselves, otherwise they'll be wrong. And if they are wrong, the system collapses on it. And most of the time, when they are at home, they are not at the home of the poor people. They are at the home of the well-to-do. That is why they're still there. Because if they are the home of the poor, easily they strip them away. So how did we get ourselves in this dilemma? That 13-year-old, 14-year-olds are running rampage. If you ask me my opinion, I would say that the structure, the family structure, is getting weaker and weaker. I tell you to do this and I command it. Just saying that, it means that you are lording it over your kid. It means that you are authoritarian, aggressive, and use Krekande method. And it's unacceptable. And the problem with that is that if you have a kid that is too stubborn, a kid that doesn't want to listen to anything, already the chain of discipline command is already broken. What can you do? The kid knows that you cannot go beyond words. And I'm not talking about capital punishment. I'm not talking about not capital punishment. Sorry to use the word capital punishment. Not that. I'm not talking about disciplining the kid in a way that is done in maybe uncivilized places. I'm not talking about raising your hands on kids. I'm not talking about that. As simple as telling the kid to now you sit down right here. If you don't say it the right way, you could get yourself into trouble. And I don't mean getting your kids into a problem or getting the kid social welfare to take away your kid. I mean getting yourself into trouble because you are aggressive on the kid. The problem with that now is that the kids, knowing that they have freedom